T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff. Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
This is a special presentation of sports and other stuff. In the famous words of Sally Field, who was honored recently at the Kennedy Center, "You like me. You really like me." Well, maybe. We'll see.
Was she just honored for being alive?
Yes, these are a few of our favorite announcers. That's play-by-play guys. This is the We Like the Guys edition. Maybe we don't. So, gentlemen, let's break this down. Get the X's and O's going. Give our hot takes on the best of all time. Here we go. What do you think?
Best, well, my favorites right now are the guys at Cincinnati, of course. The old days, Joe Buck, or Jack Buck.
Jack Buck, we can play a little Jack Buck here.
Sorry, yeah, Joe Buck, welcome to the Hall of Famer, welcome into the booth.
I got a little Jack Buck here. Let's listen to Jack Buck from back in the day, and this is actually a baseball call.
Swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw.
There you go. That's the
a man
classic.
that was excited about a game, Back when they were more of cheerleaders. The color guys are the cheerleaders now. The announcers are less cheerleading.
I was going to say, I guess my favorite today is, I like Chris Collinsworth, but mainly it doesn't matter who's with Al Michaels. Al Michaels is the guy. And obviously, it's changed a little bit because now it's okay to talk about gambling. I always like how he would usually mix in, like when a touchdown would come in late when the game was already over. He's like, some guys in the desert are happy about that touchdown. Or also when he finds something stupid, he's not afraid to probably ruffle some feathers because, again, he's a legend. He doesn't care anymore. So,
Here's his greatest call of all time, without question.
You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
And there you go. That was our guy.
Well,
1980, Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, I was going to say that may be like the absolute best because it was so out of left field. They weren't, the Russians were just destined, according to everybody.
They were essentially the 1992 Dream Team.
Yeah.
And someone beat them. Yeah.
We just watched that movie again, Miracle, the Disney flick, and you forget how the nation was so caught up in that because it was a bad time, gas rationing. Jimmy Carter was president. Not much going on there. And it changed, I think, the way the country felt about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Other current day guys.
I like, again, I'll give some shout outs, not to like this area. Jeff Joniak, for Chicago Bears. He has a great, he has a great voice, and just, I like his catchphrase, when they win, fade to black. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Gene Deckerhoff has just one of those great, 40 years ago, it obviously still works today, like type voices where it sounds like a heavy smoker. So he talks down here like this. And then also similarly, he sounds like the Incredible Hulk, the color play-by-play guy for the Arizona Cardinals, Ron Wolfe. He really talks. And just his he for when Arizona beat Cleveland this week, he said, and that should be it for Cleveland. They're done taking shovel shots to the face. It was like, this man knows how to color a picture.
And here's a local team, kind of, sort of, the Bengals. These guys are really good. Dan Horde and Lapham.
Dalton back to throw. His pass off the hands of Croft and intercepted. The Falcons are going to have it at their own 45-yard line.
Oh, that's a flag on the tackle.
Face mask penalty on the tackle. It was KZ who came up with the interception off the ricochet off Tyler Croft.
You got to catch the football. Get your hands out in front and catch the football.
He reminds me of my old high school football coach. My old coach would,
That's a good one.
Roy Reeves would say, "You boys are playing like your arms are attached at the elbows," and we'd go, "Coach, they are." But yeah, Lap is. Oh, those guys. You know, even when let's face it, Cincinnati. Even when it's bad, it's still fun to listen to those guys.
Well, there's something to be said for, like, Dan Horde still has the baritone voice. You know, we want that resonance. And the Lap is that outrageous guy who doesn't have any filters and just goes, like Madden used to do. And there's not many of those around right now.
Yeah, Dan Horde, the main thing I'll give him is he's an exceptional play-by-play, but also that he's able to maintain focus when Dave Lapslam is just losing his mind.
Yeah,
like when there's a big throw by Andy Dalton to AJ Green who's running down the field, and Dan Horne's like, and he's at the 50, the 40, the 30. Dave Lap's like, yeah, come on, AJ. Like just overlapping audio, and it's just like Dan Horne is able to remain focused when there's this large man literally 3 inches away from him, just absolutely going full tilt Gonzo.
I love it. Okay, then we're back down to earth. Here's Joe Buck.
Prescott throws. Cooper makes the play. Might go. First play from scrimmage. Touchdown, Cooper and Dallas.
that's adequate.
Vanilla?
I know it's considered vanilla, but the one thing I used not to like Joe Buck, but I've grown to enjoy him just because he doesn't try to paint too much because he lets the game kind of speak for itself. And when there's a big moment, he usually shuts up, lets the actual Nat sound kind of provide it, and then he'll say who was involved in the big play. I do like his style. I know it's simple, and not to say everyone has the same style. It really does work for him and Troy Aikman. I know it's not the most flashy, but it's very effective, I think.
Yeah, well, Aikman, by the way, I'm sorry. He's so Dallas-centric.
Yeah.
It really shows.
But this year's been fun, though, because, it feels like he's, Dallas is, if it was his spouse, has been cheating on him, and he finally figured it out, and, he's just letting certain notes, creep out to their dinner guest, and Dallas is like, honey, let's keep this under wraps. And he's like, no.
Let's go old school. Here's Dick Enberg back in the day.
So second and goal from the 15-yard line. And give it to Sanders.
The classic Dick Enberg. Oh, my.
Yeah, well, and if you want to go back to another one that's Enberg was good. I like Keith Jackson in the old days. He had all those, it's a real toad strangler if it was raining. He had all that going on. Plus, if you ever saw the man, he could have played in the offensive line. He was a big dog.
He's a big old horse. Here's Keith Jackson.
The hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Haskell. Intercepted by Teague. George Teague to the end zone. Touchdown. We're going to play football. Yippee. Ball goes into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Hold the phone, everybody. There's a penalty flag thrown, and I think it's against Miami.
Hold the phone, everybody. Oh, that's just great, isn't it?
I just liked his inflection on a lot of things where he'd be like, this is Oklahoma taking on Kentucky.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just had it. He had so much going for him, and physically a massive human being, and he just brought it every day. Okay, then let's listen to Jim Nantz of today, and we'll see what we think of him.
Rodgers in trouble. It's going to get there. He turned 32 yesterday. Does he have a vintage moment in him? In the end zone, it is caught!
That was that game winner against the Lions a few years ago where he threw the Hail Mary that you've seen time and time again.
Richard Rodgers wasn't that Rodgers and Hammerstein? Didn't they write Oklahoma and all those things?
I thought he had a neighborhood, Mr. Rogers there. I thought he was a different guy. Oh.
Well, the thing about like Jim Nantz and all the modern day, the nostalgia for a lot of these guys makes them greater than they probably were. I mean, I particularly, the old days when I was just a kid, Howard Cosell was your guy. I mean, I remember like in 78, he was talking to Muhammad when Muhammad was making his comeback, and it was just that classic sort of New York accent.
I found some Howard doing those film highlights, if you remember those, on Monday Night Football back in the 70s. Here he is.
National Football League quarterbacks. Example 1, Fran Tarkenton, sacked by Gary Burley, suffered a broken fibula in the right leg, out indefinitely. Lynn Dickey of the Green Bay Packers, broken leg, out for the season. And Bill Munson, Chargers, broken leg, out for the season. And then at Three Rivers Stadium, second quarter action, Brian Sipe back to pass for the Browns, hit by Old Arrowhead, Ernie Holmes, number 63. And Sipe suffered a broken bone in the left shoulder. He'll be out for 6 weeks. Terry
This is it.
The casualty report.
It busted up. Everybody's busted up.
Oh, that was just crazy. Any thoughts on Howard, though? He was something else. Had that New York thing, the boxing, you're at Ali.
Oh, yeah, they were made for each other. And they made each other, I think, because after Ali was gone, Cosell, kind of faded. But, I mean, he had his moment. But I think he and Dandy Don were some of the most entertaining. I'll remember one thing when I was just a kid. Cleveland had a receiver named Fair Hooker. And Dandy Don said, I didn't know there was a Fair Hooker in Cleveland. And Cosell was like, folks, we do not. He was trying to
not condone that activity.
But I mean, but yeah.
Howard Cosell is definitely one of the most influential because obviously it used to be more just cut and dry, and obviously he started to put more opinion and personality into broadcast. I mean, obviously for better and worse, you could say he's probably the most influential probably announcer maybe of the last 50 years.
Well, and teamed with Roone Arledge to start Monday Night Football and change the game to bring it to prime time when most, it was just on Sunday afternoons, really.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that was the moment that the NFL really started kicking in to what we know it is today, the sort of behemoth that it is.
Kind of like this.
You are looking live at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio.
You are looking live at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. You are looking live at the Los Angeles Coliseum. You are looking live at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City.
Brent Musburger with his famous catchphrase. That was always good. That was exciting when he did that.
Yeah, yeah. And it was at a time in TV when live was the big thing,
Yeah, Brent Musburger, actually, and obviously he's contemporaries with, Dick Enberg, who obviously has passed away, and Vern Lundquist, who just retired like a few years ago. Brent Musburger's still going. He is the play-by-play guy for the Oakland Raiders, and it just shows you just like the man loves it, and if you still hear him call a game, like he's still got it. It's not that he's kind of eroded away.
These guys get better with age. In their 70s, they're at their best.
They actually do.
And Vern, Al Michaels, Brent, they're all in their 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brent's moment was, when he did that about A.J. McCarron's girlfriend, and
he had a few. That was the final one that got him. Jen Steinbrenner, or however her name is, who was a Florida State student at the time, and him commenting on her, and it's just Brent. He couldn't get out of his own way, and that's why obviously he lost the ABC deal, but. It's not that he lost his talent. Let's put it that way.
No, just a little bit of bad judgment.
Here's another classic. You mentioned him. Uncle Vern. Here he is.
Blitz. Screen pass. Yeldon. To the 20. To the 10.